Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Welcome back, dear students. We started our unit, which is Unit 4. Now we have in our unit, which is the world of TV. The last lesson that we had was the grammar lesson. Now in the grammar lesson, we discussed the topic or the main idea of conjunctions and when to use the conjunctions. And if you recall that we had like a definition here, just to remind you that conjunctions here are words that join things together as in, and, or, but, and so. And in other ways, there are ways to use paired conjunctions that are two in the same sentence. Of course, there is a difference in them. Now you can see here that the conjunctions here, they can be paired, as I mentioned. Here you can see that we have either, both, and, not only, but also. We have also either or you can use neither nor if it is negative. Now these paired conjunctions, they are basically one idea here and they join two nouns, two verbs, or two adjectives together. On the other hand, we have the second part, which are single conjunctions here. Now we can say that here they are here used in the sentence to join two different ideas or two different clauses. Now one of the clauses is going to be independent and the other one is going to be dependent. So we join them together to give a complete meaning. Now we are going to just move on to the homework, which was on pages 50 and 51. We started with the exercises that we did at the first, page 50. We had to complete each sentence with the correct paired conjunction and an idea of your own. So just to recall that we had the first part done. Now we're going to complete the second part. We have here 6. The policeman not only stopped the crime. Now, just to remind you that you can apply any idea of your own as long as you are using the correct form of the conjunctions. So here I am going to write, but also saved the victim. We have number 7. In the morning, she drinks either coffee or tea. Jack has neither called us nor emailed us. Bruno has both a sore throat and a fever. And we can say you can either look for a new job or start a business. So here you can apply the same type of idea, or you can just think about something else. As long as it is the correct structure, you are good. Now moving on to the second exercise, we have here on page number 51, we have the exercise combine each pair of sentences using a paired conjunction. Now if you recall also, we did the first 3 parts of the exercise. Now we are going to move on and just see what we have left. We have number 4. Now in number 4 here, we have I'll call you later, full stop. You can see I'll email you later. So just to refresh your memory, we have here 2 different sentences. They are complete sentences, and we are going to join them using a paired conjunction. So we can say here, for example, I'll call you later, or I'll either call you or email you later. Now the first thing that you can see that we used in the sentence either or, and we combine them, making them just one sentence. We have the second one, we're not angry, we're not disappointed. So since that you can see here that we have negative. So the negative part here, we have we're neither angry nor disappointed. Then we have in number 6, ice is a state of water, vapor is a state of water. So here we can join them together and say both ice and vapor are states of water. And you can see that I changed the verb state into states because now we have plural. Now we are going to complete. We have the last exercise, which is also on page number 51. You are asked to just match the 2 parts together. Now you can see the first one is done. Between we have number 1 and C. We are going to complete, and the second part is to what we have here to match, then rewrite them as one sentence using a coordinating conjunction. So we are going to match and then rewrite using the correct conjunction, coordinating conjunction. We have here, first of all, Yes. Now we have number 2. I told them I'd come over for dinner. Now you can just check your answer here. It is going to be I'm really not feeling well. These are 2 parts. Then I can join them together saying I told them I'd come over for dinner, but I'm really not feeling well. Now the second part we have here, number 3. He's a vegetarian. So what did you choose? We have here he's a vegetarian, E, which is he's not going to eat any beef burgers. Now we're going to just join them and saying he's a vegetarian, so he's not going to eat any beef burgers. Moving on, we have here, she's lied to her more than once. Now we can say here, yes, we have the answer A, she continues to consider her a friend. So again, we have she's lied to her more than once. She continues to consider her a friend. Now you can see sometimes that it is easy to join depending on the pronoun that you have here as well as the complete idea. So I'm going to join them together and say that we have here she's lied to her more than once, but she continues to consider her a friend. Now moving on, we have number 5. One of their children lives in Japan, and we have B. The other lives in Argentina, and we can complete saying here one of their children lives in Japan and the other lives in Argentina. Leaving us to the last sentence, he's very comfortable in the US, joining with D here, he continues to miss his home in Brazil. Now, so we're going to say he's very comfortable in the US, but he continues to miss his home in Brazil. So we have completed the exercises and the homework that we have here in the grammar part. We are going to go back to the main idea here, which is the world of TV. So the world of TV here, we're going to just discuss mainly. Now we have a question here. What other things do you like to watch on TV? Now there was a general discussion. Now if you remember in the listen and discuss, we just guessed what are the names of the films. Now we had animated films, we had biographical films. Now these films here, there are other types. So what else do you like? We can say, for example, that there are different things to watch. You can watch, for example, the news. You can watch different children's programs. We have here talk shows. We have also something scientific here. We have cooking shows. We have contests and games and more. Now there is something that we have here, another question. You can see that we have the question, have you ever watched something on TV and found it hard to swallow? So some things that we watch on TV, they are very interesting and we may go and watch them again. And sometimes, no, they are just hard to swallow. What is the meaning of hard to swallow here? What kinds of TV programs are people's actions or a dime a dozen? Now also, this is an interesting phrase that we are going to go back here. Now just think about it, that we have here a dozen, a dime a dozen. So some programs we can describe them by using the phrase a dime a dozen. Now one of the things that people enjoy to watch a lot is sports. Now there are different football games that people enjoy to watch. Sometimes they enjoy to watch these games alone, and sometimes they like to watch these games with other people. Now what do you usually like? Which kind are you? Do you like to watch games or football games alone, or do you like to watch them with someone else? And if not football, maybe any other type of sport or a film. Now we are going to just read together here. We have here a lot of people enjoy watching sports games together, but do they always enjoy it? Now this is an interesting question. Even though that some people, they watch together a game, for example, do they always enjoy the game? Now this is something that we are going to discuss together. And there is another question also. Have you ever dozed off while watching a game because you were not interested in it? So here you can see that there are lots of phrases. Now we said, for example, a dime a dozen. We said that we have here hard to swallow. we can say that also that some people, when they watch different programs or games, they just simply doze off. Now, these are different phrases that we are going to agree or disagree using. So here we have the idea of agreeing and disagreeing. We now know the different phrases that we are going to pass by, and all of these are going to be in our lesson, which is the conversation lesson, page number 52. Now please open your books on page 52. Before we start, we have the objectives. We have, first of all, to give the meanings of words based on the text, express opinions, use real talk and specific phrases in sentences, use agreeing and disagreeing phrases in conversations. So we are going to move on. Open your books on page number 52. We have here Fahad and Adil are watching a basketball game together. So we are going to just listen to the conversation that we have here between the two young men here, Fahad and Adil, and then we are going to comment on what is the idea of their conversation. Now we're going to start.
That was such a fantastic basketball game on TV.
You must be joking.
Why? Didn't you like it?
I thought it was a terrible game. The whole thing was just awful.
What didn't you like about it?
For one thing, the Bulls' key player missed every easy shot. It really bothered me throughout the entire game.
Well, you're right about that. But what else didn't you like?
I thought their uniforms were ridiculous. I found the whole idea of the Bulls players wearing cowhide tops hard to swallow.
I don't agree at all. The whole idea is to stand out in the game. The tops are not real cowhide. It's fake cowhide.
I'm not sure they were fake. Think of all the poor animals they took the hides from. They must believe that the poor animals are a dime a dozen. Anyway, by the end of the game, I started to doze off.
We seem to have very different tastes in basketball and uniforms. Maybe next time we get together we should just go out to a restaurant.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay. So we have here, this is the conversation between the two young men, Fahad and Adil. Now about the conversation, now we have the questions. Number one, what did Adil like about the game? We have number two, what did Fahad dislike about the players? So these are two basic questions here. Now these questions, we are going to answer them together. So if you just thought about them, we have here, what did Adil like about the game? Now you can see at the very beginning that he praised the game here and he liked it. So we're going to see what he liked. Now we are going to discuss the answers using real talk at the same time. So we have here, now when he said that, we have here, of course, we have the answer, I thought it was a terrible game. The whole thing was just awful. Now, first of all, we have the phrase just awful. What does it mean? We have here just awful. It's like using another word. Now you can say something is very bad, for example, or just awful. Is there a difference between them? Now I want you to just think about the meaning. We have, of course, very or really. You can say very or awful or really awful. Also, we have here, I thought their uniforms were ridiculous. I found the whole idea of the Bulls players wearing cowhide tops hard to swallow. Now, this is the second time. First of all, we started by saying there are programs that are just hard to swallow. And you can see also here that we have here the idea was hard to swallow. So what is the meaning of swallowing? Now, when you drink something or you eat, you swallow. When we say that it is hard to swallow, do we really mean the exact meaning? Or do we mean that something is not easy to believe? Did you get the meaning? We have also, now here, I'm not sure they were fake. Think of all the poor animals they took the hides from. They must believe that the poor animals are a dime a dozen. Anyway, by the end of the game, I started to doze off. Now, when you have a lot of the same thing, now let's say, for example, that you have coins. Now, these coins, if you just take one, it is the same as the rest, which means that it is a dime a dozen. So we have here the two meanings. First of all, doze off, as we just explained at the very beginning, it means that someone is asleep or falling asleep. And we have here a dime a dozen, something so common that it doesn't have value. It's like other things, or it's like the rest of the group or the rest of the others that we have. So there is no value for one in specific. Moving on, we have here agreeing and disagreeing. And then again, I just remind you to think about the answers that we have here between the young men to know what one liked and the other one disliked. So let's just understand here more by seeing the agreeing and disagreeing phrases that we have. So we have, first of all, now that was such a fantastic basketball game on TV. He said, you must be joking. Now, when someone says, you must be joking, what does it mean? Does he agree or disagree? We have also, why didn't you like it? I thought it was a terrible game. The whole thing was just awful, as we have here. And then you can see here, now there is a way by saying that, well, you're right about that. When I say to someone that you're right about that, what does it mean? Is it, do I mean that I am agreeing or disagreeing? So clearly, when I say that you're right, means that I agree. Moving on. There's also another phrase here you can see that we have, I don't agree at all. So this one is very obvious, very clear. You can just simply disagree with someone by saying that you don't agree at all. Moving on, we have here, you can see that there are two phrases. Now the first one, I'm not sure they were fake. Now, when they were talking about the cow hides here, and he said that he's not sure that they were fake, is this a way to agree or disagree? No, basically, when you have negative in the phrase, this is a way just to express disagreement in general. And coming to the very end, we have here, now, I think maybe next time we get together, we should just go out to a restaurant, and we have here, I couldn't agree more. Now here you can see that there is negative, but I am saying that I couldn't agree more. So which means that, yes, I am agreeing. I am with you. I couldn't agree more. Now here, the word more changed the whole idea of the phrase. So coming at the end, you can see that we have here the table. Now we have the exact table in your book. You can see that we have here the different phrases using for agreeing, as we said. You can use, for example, I agree completely. I couldn't agree more. You're absolutely right, and you're right about that. Now you can see that some are very clear in agreement. And on the other hand, we have here phrases that are used to disagree with someone. We have here, for example, you can say that I don't agree. Or you can add, I'm sorry, I don't agree. Or you can give a complete phrase, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with you. Now the second one, I see it differently. I totally disagree. I'm afraid I don't really agree. I'm not so sure about that. And note that we have here, you must be joking, which was the first phrase that we read together. Now here in the brackets we have here informal and not very polite. So you can use this phrase with your friend, with someone that is not formal, but of course it is something informal. And if you use it with someone who is formal for you or with you, it's not polite. So we can see that we have here different phrases for agreement and disagreement. Now we have on page number 52, you are asked to your turn, role play with a partner. Think of a situation in which two people might disagree. Discuss your opinions using the phrases for agreeing and disagreeing. So from the conversation that we have here, we now know that each young man, what he disagreed on and what he agreed on, reading the phrases that we have here, what he liked and what the other disliked throughout the conversation. Now, going back to the topic in general that we have here, the world of TV. We listed some different programs that we can see on TV. Just think about different things that you can watch. Now, we counted or listed different things. We can say that there are a lot of talk shows which you can enjoy. You can enjoy different talk shows. Now, let's just see together that we have here something. We have here different talk shows. We can say that there are news, drama, movies, comedy, reality, music, kids, sports. These are different programs and talk shows that we can watch on TV. Now, just to move on, we have here, there is going to be also some kind of interview. Now, one thing also we can watch on TV are interviews, which is going to be exactly what we have here in our second part, the second lesson here, which is the listening lesson that we have in the book. Now, there is a title. We have here Special Places for Special People, which is a morning show on home and work design. We are going to listen to an interview, which is actually a morning show. The topic is about home and work design. Our objectives are: give the meanings of words based on the text, list after listening design differences based on the description. Number 3, to enumerate the advantages and disadvantages of each design mentioned in a listening text. So we're going to move on. Now in the book we have here, listen to the interview from the TV show Special Places for Special People and complete the chart. So be ready, open your books on page number 53. We are going to listen together. We have here the interview is with Mr. Douglas. Now Mr. Douglas here, he is talking about different designs. So just to catch up, we have here an interview. We are going to listen to the interview. The interview is with Mr. Douglas, who is going to talk about different designs of decorations or designs that can be used at home or at work. Now you can see on page number 53, we do have the table here. You can see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So there's going to be design number 1, design number 2, design number 3, and the final design. So what are you going to listen to? You're going to listen to what was good about each one, and then what was bad about it. So we have the first, the second, the third, and the final. And then the third part, what was the CEO's opinion? So there was an opinion mentioned about each design. So let's listen. Are you ready?
This is Special Places for Special People, your morning show on home and work design. As you can see, we have just walked into the fabulous newly designed interior of an old building in the center of town. The building has been cleared out to form large open-plan offices, as well as comfortable glassed-in private offices along the front. We are being met by Mr. Douglas, the CEO of Streamline Airlines. This is the Streamline headquarters, and a lot of money, time, and effort have gone into renovating the building and redesigning the interior. Good morning, Mr. Douglas.
Hello, and welcome to our new offices.
Thank you. So this is it. How do you feel about the space and the way it has been designed?
I am satisfied with the design. It certainly lives up to our expectations aesthetically, and it complements the style of the building and the location. Actually, the initial design was not quite what we needed, and different parts of the building were not optimally utilized. There are so many things one has to take into consideration: functional issues, such as the number of employees, meeting rooms, facilities for self-catering, mail, insulation, electronic equipment, storage, and a lot more. Naturally, all these other aspects need to be catered to while making the most of the space and lighting, and managing to develop a distinct, yet pleasing, style that will contribute to a positive atmosphere. It was really frustrating to have to compromise the style of the design in order to meet functional needs at times. We had to reject the second design, which was superb from an aesthetic viewpoint and quite minimalist, because it required staff to squeeze into tiny cubicles along the back, out of the way. Then the third design, a modified version of the second one, was really disappointing because it was neither stylish nor fully functional. Finally, the team of architects and decorators that had taken on the project decided to go back to the drawing board and came up with 3 wonderful options. Naturally, they were presented to the board and we chose this one. It's a long, arduous process, but in the end it all comes together.
So this was your choice. I take it, including that glass cylinder in the middle of each floor that I suppose goes up to the roof. And I can see plants that are suspended and plants placed in niches all the way to the top. Whose idea was that?
Oh, well, that was our staff. We invited them to contribute to our new premises in a way that would signal our green policies, and this is what they came up with. The final choice regarding the design was made by the whole board. I do like it and I think it is quite efficient in practice. My only complaint about it is that it is not modern enough.
So let's see the answers here. We have here what was good about the first design. Now the first design, if you heard correctly here, it was stylish, yes. But what was bad about it, we have here functional problems. And we can see that the CEO's opinion was it doesn't meet needs. So you can see that we have here simple points. Concerning design number 2, we have here what was good about it. We can see that it was aesthetically superb. And we have here what was bad about it, that the staff was worse isolated in cubicles. And we have here the CEO's opinion, superb style but not functional. Moving on to design number 3, we can see that the good thing was nothing. We have here nothing was good. And it was not modern enough, leading to the opinion neither stylish nor functional, and it was disappointing. Moving on to the final design, we can see that it was exactly what they needed. We have here what was bad about it, completely nothing. And we have here the final opinion, it was satisfying. So just check your answers together and with your classmates to make sure that you have here the same ideas and the same things that we applied within the table. Now, our outline of the day, we had the conversation part and we have here also the listening. Now in the conversation, we had the discussion about a game. We listened, answered questions, and predicted meanings of words from the text. Now you are asked to build conversation using discussion phrases, or we can say that we have your agreement and disagreement. And we have here to apply real talk in new sentences. On the other hand, we have here listening. We have here it was a show interview. We can see that it was basically about interior designs. And we have here, there was a different type of comparison between 4 designs here, leading to what was satisfying for the CEO and the company in general. Now we are going to complete our discussion in our next lesson, inshallah, so be ready.